Hello friends! Our journey will start from our first station, 0.384 million kilometers away, because it is the nearest place we can land on the Moon. It is the nearest heavenly body to the Earth, so near that a spacecraft can take us there in 3 to 5 days, but so distant that all the planets, the Earth, and the Moon can be accommodated in this gap. As many as 30 Earths can be put in this distance. On July 20, 1969, the lunar module of the Apollo 11 mission landed on the Moon. The team led by Neil Armstrong, 50 years ago, had in fact brought pieces of lava from the Moon. Research on the lava revealed the eruption of countless volcanoes on the Moon 3.5 billion years ago, and their lava spread for thousands of miles. The congealed lava appears like spots from the Earth. Scientists called it seas of the Moon or Maria. They have named every sea, like Sea of Knowledge, Sea of Crises, Sea of Cold, etc. The area of black marks that is much brighter on the Moon may be called deserts. This, in fact, is the ash that explosion of lava produced and fell on the hills like snow. When the sunlight sheds on the ash, they reflect and illuminate in every direction. Neil Armstrong also happened to land on the same soft ash on the Moon. That is why his footprint was so clear and deep. Man had landed on the Moon half a century ago, but his footprint on the Moon is intact to date. They appear printed just a day ago. Do you know why it is so? The reason being the absence of air, clouds, and rain on the Moon. Because the Moon does not have a circle of air and gases as we have on Earth, it means the Moon does not have an atmosphere. For that matter, the human footprint on the Moon will stay intact for millions or billions of years. But the question is whether humanity will be present anywhere in this present form by that time, or the evolutionary process would have given it another shape. It may also be possible that the warrior temperature of man had ended humanity. One thing was certain, whether man existed or not, his footprint would stay on the Moon for countless ages. But it was not only the footprints of Neil Armstrong that would remain on the Moon for good. Here, the prints of 12 astronauts would also stay intact. They had landed on the Moon after Apollo 11, namely 12, 13, 14, 16, and 17. The Moon also bears the prints of golfer Shepard's smashes when he had played golf on the lunar surface. The Moon will also bear the prints of lunar vehicles for innumerable ages. But a name also goes with them all. Well, dear, did you know that a person had printed the name of a beautiful girl on the Moon's surface? Here is a man who promised his daughter to write her name on the Moon, and he made good on his promise. Yes, this man was Eugene Cernan, commander of the Apollo 17 mission. He stayed on the Moon for 3 days in 1972, and on return, he did a weird act. He leaned down and wrote Tracy, the name of his daughter, on the bright land on the Moon. It was an everlasting gift to his daughter. He was certainly quite happy over it, but it also had a mellow grief. Until death, he regretted not taking the picture of Tracy's name on the Moon's surface when the camera was available and video recording was also on. Apollo 17 was the last mission Eugene took to the Moon. After that, no man. The first man on the Moon, Neil Armstrong, and the last one, Eugene Cernan, are no more, but history is about to take a big turn. Man is once again preparing to reach and set up a permanent station on the Moon. It may become a reality within the next 4 to 6 years, and we can also see its advantages, as a permanent base on the Moon would mean research for taking advantage of the lunar resources. However, it is a matter of time, but at present, we can see only one beautiful side of the Moon. Yes, only one side. Truly speaking, how many of us think about why, over the millions of years, only one side of the Moon has been visible? Why is the full moon always the same, speckled and bright, while the big marks are also always the same? The reason is that the Moon not only moves around the Earth, but it also revolves on its axis. It takes an equal amount of time to complete one round of the Earth and move on its axis. That is why humans on Earth cannot see the other side of the Moon. This process is called phase lock, but humans have made much progress. They have also traced the second side of the moon. Humans pictured the second side, called the far side of the moon, years ago, which we can now see on a massive scale. Now, a robotic mission from China has also landed on the other side of the moon. As of the time of uploading this video, it had conducted different experiments on the moon. Possibly, humans can get further information regarding the creation of the Earth and the moon. But so far, we have learned that the other side of the moon is extremely beautiful and bright because there are fewer black spots. If poets had seen the second side, they would have imagined their beloved in that context. Possibly, our love for the moon has a scientific history because the moon was once a part of our Earth. That part was separated from the Earth some 4.5 billion years ago due to the impact of a huge meteor. According to the universal law of gravitation, it began to move around the bigger body, the Earth, and with the passage of time, it has gradually moved away. The process is continuing to this day. The moon is distancing from the Earth by 3.8 centimeters every year. But hold on for a moment and ask how we know this fact. The first two astronauts, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, did a last job before returning to Earth from the moon. They placed a retroreflector on the moon's sand, ashes. It was a mirror that reflected the laser light from the Earth back to it. It was like shining light on a wall that reflects back to you. However, they were not the only astronauts who installed a reflector on the moon. Reflectors like those were also installed at different points by the astronauts of other two missions. The reflectors are still there, helping us to know how distant the moon is from us. They also helped us know that the moon is distancing from us 3.8 centimeters every year. The moon will not be visible after 50 billion years if it continues to distance at this rate. But don't worry, 45 billion years before that, the sun would also become chill after completing its age, and the Earth will also become an untold and unheard tale by that time.